know when you're using rods, you get the answer in about 3 seconds. And it's decisive. I mean, just overwhelmingly decisive.
Wow.
And you can get the answer to anything. I had a guy that then asked me, well, can you tell me how much my wife loves me? And I said, yes, if you let me also reveal how much you love your wife. And when we get back from the extended break, I'll share the results. We'll be right back. Doing this show, I get some great thoughts and questions during the break from instant messages. And Tanya up in Tennessee just sent me a tattoo that she had just finished and looked really cool. It was a tiger. And then Dennis has shared with me an aerial photo of his family ranch or farm, 180 acre farm, and they're going to homestead, go off the grid there, and yeah, what a beautiful place. So, Jeff, we were talking dowsing. Yeah, I tell you, I can't wait to get you up here to share some dowsing techniques with you. We'll make you a believer.
I believe already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of books here on it, and I just haven't read them yet. And how to do it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of when you bring it up, the thin-skinned Christians that they just freak out, and they think spirits and ghosts or whatever are moving the rods, and so I don't bring it up a whole lot on this show because I figure, they'll go running off into the woods screaming, thinking I'm demon-possessed or something, but it really has nothing to do with that. People that overreact like that, it's always just out of ignorance, if they just kind of calm down and considered it, learned a little bit about it, they wouldn't be so fearful, I think.
Yeah, there's no evidence of any sort that that's what's going on with dowsing. I mean, they say there's, spirits doing this or that, or even that implies evil spirits because there's, of course, good spirits all over the place, angels and so forth, that sure aren't bad. But to say there's spirits and whatnot, you really know what you're talking about to make sure, because you don't want to throw out a really powerful spiritual technology just because of you're afraid. Like, for example, crystal scrying, I know from firsthand experience. I tried that 3 different nights in my life, 3 nights in a row, and I'll never do it again because I found out for myself. From what I found out, it's extremely dangerous, and it's exactly where I didn't want to go. And you talk about some kind of making room for some kind of spirits or something that are not the good ones. That definitely did it. So, but I mean, it's something like the pendulum or dowsing. That's just, if you just do it, there's no spirits or anything. It's, there's all kinds. You've got, if it's, certain Christians worrying about things, you got to look at the Bible and realize, a lot of our prophets and so forth in the Bible. They had all these mental powers of, clairvoyance and prophecy and, telling the future and stuff. So the whole Christian spirit is to develop a lot of these powers within us. Yeah.
And then, that I don't want to go down that road. I'll get all angry. To tell me a little bit about this crystal thing. What's the procedure? And if you would, maybe share the negative experience of what happened.
Okay. That was that might have been about a year ago. Now, crystal scrying, when you watch cartoons or something, that was you see them doing the crystal ball and whatnot. that's basically a mocking portrayal of a real spiritual technology that is used by people all over the world, and it's very popular among elites and whatnot, interestingly. Now, I didn't know. I read a book called Scrying for Beginners by a guy named Tyson, who was, a nice book, and it sounded all harmless and stuff. So basically what you do is you get a really good quality crystal. I had an amethyst crystal, and you get it so it's basically almost completely dark, and you just stare right into it, and you just focus all your awareness, your attention, on staring right through the clear parts of the crystal to the other side. And man, I'll tell you, when I first did it, your consciousness just goes blank. You just leave where you are, and you're not there. I mean, it can happen in a flash, or it can gradually fade over 30 seconds or something, but it is just absolutely stunning. And I thought this was just the coolest thing when I started. I said, well, there must be some real, interesting, and benevolent, good powers that come out of this.
Okay, so when you leave, your consciousness leaves your body, where did you find yourself? Just in darkness?
Yeah, interesting. Is a perfect way to put it. That's where I found myself. But then I started the second night. I started seeing things. But let me tell you what happened after the first night of doing it. Now, keep in mind, I had no idea that this was anything but a wonderful. I thought this was just some harmless, wonderful little technology, as harmless as Dousing or something. But let me tell you what happened. So I went to sleep. This was at night. I had the most horrific, disturbing, unbelievably horrible dreams ever in my life all night. Every time I go to sleep, there they were. And I woke up the worst night of sleeping ever. And I said, what is the deal? And, silly me, I never put it together, the scrying, because I just had this assumption it was a harmless thing. Then I did it the second night, scrying, and the dreams continued. And then I started, then I'm putting it together. And then I did it just a teeny bit the third night, and it was the worst dreams ever. And then I quickly said, okay, I think I'm putting this together now. This is a very, you want to let something take over your consciousness, then do some crystal scrying, and it'll be, you'll lose the control of your personhood, to use a good word. And I as soon as I stopped doing it, it went away, and man, it freaked me out big time. And it was really, so it is, I definitely side with some people saying you got to be careful with some certain things, but some you don't, some are safe, and you have to find out which ones are and aren't, I guess, for yourself. But crystal scrying is a dangerous one.
You're obviously like me. There's not much in the world that you're afraid of, so you're open to learning, and that's what brought you to it. You tried it, you realized a few things, and you said, okay, enough of that. But I wanted to throw in, you said they can kind of take over your consciousness, and how do you know they're not still there?
Well, that's an interesting question. Well, I went back to my old self exactly, and the only time it's not as if something took over my consciousness. Here's what I mean by that. When you're in the moments of the crystal scrying, you just all of a sudden aren't. It's almost like a real out of body experience. But it's just, I don't know, you have to do it. It's just so amazing that the whole thing happens. What I meant by something taking over your consciousness was not necessarily in that instance. But when I went to sleep, it's just something wasn't right. Why, it was as if something was invading. Why did this happen? I mean, I've had wonderful sleep my whole life, and all of a sudden, bam, something, it was as if something was given permission to attack. And so that's what I mean by, so I guess taking over was the right. Letting, I don't know. It's hard to explain. So, but there was no daily, waking experience that was like there was any kind of alarm. Or
you didn't hear voices to go murder somebody. So
no.
Yeah, I understand, and I'm glad you clarified it. The other question that Robert has here on it is, he's asking how large a crystal were you using, and how do you get clear ones? He only has a couple of pencil size, and they're foggy.
Well, I don't know if I want to